What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today is just gonna be a little fall makeup routine. It's just changing it up and using some nicer products. So if you like fall makeup, jump on board. Let's go. First things first, primer. As I talked about in the last video that I did about makeup, Tula primer is my all-time favorite and the best in my opinion. But we're just gonna do a little bit of that to start. Give my face just a little bit of color and of course extra moisture. Y'all, it was not supposed to be gloomy today. Oh, it's so gloomy, so the lighting I'm sure is not awesome, but bear with me. Okay, so in my last makeup video, I did very minimalistic makeup and the cheaper stuff that I use for the most part, more, I guess, drugstore related makeup. But today, because we're gonna go out tonight and I want to do more of a fall look, of course, we are gonna use my nicer products. So for foundation, I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish. I struggled with this a lot when I first went and bought some at Sephora on my shade, and with COVID and I still have to wear a mask in the store, they do shade matching super weird because they don't really have a choice, and you have to keep your mask on and they just dab a little. It's hard because you can't see your whole face and you can't see exactly how it's going to turn out. So I went through probably 3 shades that I would take home, use, and then return because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. But I now have 4, which is a neutral tone. My skin tends to hold a lot of cool tones, so if I use too warm of a foundation, it looks a little off. So I went back and forth a ton because when I first bought this, it was for my wedding and I was very tan in June, and that is not the case now. But this is still a really good shade that just goes well with my natural skin tone regardless. And I use this with a sponge. I did at first use brushes when I first bought this, but again, if you didn't see my last video, I have eczema and sometimes brushes can be really harsh on your skin putting on things like foundation, and so for some reason it just makes my face crack really bad. So I found that I always go with a beauty blender or sponge for any type of foundation. So I don't use a lot more than just literally that much. It's really liquidy and creamy, so a little goes a long way if you can't already tell. But it is super smooth. And this is also why I have learned that I like sponges better than brushes, is, in my opinion, it, one, smooths out a lot easier, and I don't know, it doesn't look as thick, I guess, as it does when I use a brush, which I appreciate, a not too thick look. So we're gonna blend it in. So for setting everything at the end and also my eyes, I use the Laura Mercier setting powder. Oh my gosh, words are hard today, guys. But this was a very hard choice when I went to Sephora on, do I want to spend the money on the big like jar or the little one, because y'all, this ain't cheap. And everyone I know my entire life has raved about this setting powder, and I feel like it's been a staple since it came out. And I honestly don't even know how long it's been since it's been out. I know it's been a very long time though. So I couldn't pass it up when I was deciding what I was gonna buy for, again, all this was bought. Don't try to get it in your eye, it's fine. All of this was bought for my wedding this past summer, and I am not a huge makeup person as far as being willing to spend a lot of money on it, but for my wedding, I went for it, and I have now become obsessed with everything that I bought. It's just such good quality, and especially this. They have two different sizes. One's like 20 something, and one, I think this is almost 50. But this lasts so long because you only need a tiny bit. I really only use it to set my underneath my eyes, and I use a spray for everything else because it sometimes can dull words, guys, words. Anyway, start that sentence over. It can sometimes dull out your bronzer and stuff and not make it look as perfected as you made it. It just kind of blends it all back down to one shade, and so that bothers me a little bit. So I only really use the setting powder for my concealer, or if I have a blemish at some point, you know, covering that. But other than that, it's really all I use it for. So it's gonna last me a freaking long time, and it is so good. It's the best powder finishing I've ever used. Love it. So now we're gonna move on to bronzer, and I go back and forth, guys. I have a brush from Vanity Planet. If y'all have never used Vanity Planet stuff, they're great. I have so many products from them. I may eventually go over all that, but I did get a whole brush set from them, and the color is so cute and pink, and I love it. And this is what I use for the most part for bronzer, but I will say my sturdy go-to for years has been my e.l.f. brush, and it's just the shape that, oh well, it's a little misformed. It's been a couple years that I've had this, but it's more of a, if you can tell on this side, so it's like not as thick on this side and a lot taller on this. It's like a little teardrop shape. So for bronzer and stuff, like that easy shape has been kind of better in my opinion. I think it does a lot better. So don't hate on the cheaper brushes, guys. But we're gonna go with this one today. Let me tell you about the best bronzer I have ever found. And I had so many people refer me to this when I was shopping for my wedding makeup, and it is from NARS. I have the shade Laguna, and I made sure that I got a matte bronzer. Y'all, it is worn, but it is beautiful. I love this bronzer so much, and a little, just like the foundation, goes a long way. I have found with these brushes, I just do a lot of spotting and then blend, because I want the color to hit as best as possible. But just like my last video, if you saw it or didn't, I do my bronzer in a weird, I guess, pattern. I do my cheekbones, then up through my forehead, and then I go back down to my jawline. And this I definitely rub first because I really want it to be smudged so it's not super harsh, and blends down into my neck really well. And I always do a little bit down to, like I said, continue that blending. Blush, every single person except one said NARS in Orgasm. And y'all, it looks really dark. Don't be fooled. This blush is beautiful, and I am not a huge blush person, so I want my blush to be very, very subtle. And when I saw this color, I was like, it looks thick, it looks dark. I don't know if this is for me, but if you know how to apply it and do it lightly, it is so nice and the perfect little hint of color. Again, I'm using Vanity Planet brushes for this as well. And I just do a couple little dots up on the top of my cheekbone, and a couple through my cheeks, and I just blend it out up by my cheekbone the most, just to give, I don't want, you know, super rosy cheeks, but I do want that little almost, well, blushed color, you know. I really can't tell y'all if this is coming across in this video. The sunlight today is just not my friend, but it's okay. We're gonna power through. Hopefully when I go back and edit this, it looks fine. We will see. Last but not least, for my face makeup. I don't use this very often, but I do use it for special occasions, and it is probably the most beautiful highlighter I've ever seen. It is from Becca, and it is like this really nice gold champagne look, and I couldn't say no. Could not say no. And now I'm realizing I have a little bit of a foundation line, but that is okay. So for this, I use a very small brush, and it is very ovally versus round, in my opinion, because I just want it to be very particular where I put it. So I just brush a little bit of that on. I'm hoping you can see what this looks like. I need to get a ring light out next time I do makeup, because I feel like that would really show off this color way better. See if you can see it on the brush. It's just so pretty, and it's just enough hint of sparkle, and who doesn't want to have a little bit of sparkle, you know? Okay, so that is all the face makeup and my nicer products that I had mentioned in my last makeup video. Yes guys, I'm just gonna say it, if you saw my last makeup video for my everyday routine, video was a little cringe. I am just not the biggest makeup person, and I said that. So my everyday makeup is like very bland and very short and sweet. So that's all I had for you. With this, it's much nicer products. I think it looks a lot better on, and I just don't like to waste too much of a product when I'm not going to do something. So I make it last, and I do that by using my drugstore makeup day. So now for the part that actually makes this a true fall makeup routine, the eyes. So y'all, I have this Kylie Jenner palette, and I have bought this 2 years ago. And it doesn't even look like I've had it that long because I don't wear eyeshadow a ton, but it is beautiful. I saw it in the store. I saw it in Ulta 2 years ago, and I was like, do I splurge on this? Do I not? I went for it, and I'm trying to remember which one of the palettes this is, and I think it honestly rubbed off because she has a few different, like, actually a lot of different modifications of this palette, but this one has the most beautiful tones, all of the gold and auburn and purples and reds and nudes and browns. I love it, and I think it is just so nice for fall. But I always prep my eyes with something liquid, and bringing us back to Shape Tape, this works amazing as an eye primer. I just put a dot on each eyelid, and then we are going to use our finger to rub this in. But there's a lot of concealers out there that people use also as eye primer, and not all of them work that well for eye primer, but y'all, this one takes the cake. perfect concealer and perfect eye primer. Okay, so we are going to start with something more natural undertone. So I'm gonna go with Beach, which is this color right here. Just do a little bit of that all over. I got these new brushes at Ulta recently because I couldn't find my old eyeshadow brushes from when I bought Naked palettes all the time. So I needed just a couple new eyeshadow brushes, and I don't know how I feel about these. They're almost too like soft that I feel like it doesn't put a ton of color on your actual eye. I feel like the powder just all kind of falls off. Like, not terribly, obviously there's color, but it just, I don't know, they're not my favorite. I think these are just the basic, yeah, Ulta Beauty brand. Not to knock on them, because I love their products, but just not my favorite eyeshadow brushes. So our base is going to be this orangey nude, and I am then, let's see, what mood do I want to be in for my fall makeup? I think I want to stick more with these orangey tones and then maybe blend out something darker. I'm definitely adding the gold in. Can't go wrong with that. So we're going to do the color Brick, which is this orangey pink. And just with a different brush. This one's a littler. Okay. I don't know what is up today, but words are so freaking hard. We're just going to blend that in the crease. Add something a little more. Oh, my blending is not going super well. Add something a little more orange in. Okay, to do more of a smoky on the end, we're going to go with the almond color. It's almost, I don't know, it's a little purple. It's actually really similar to my dress, but in person, I will say it gives a little bit more of a purple vibe. We're just gonna take that into just the corner crease and down across the very bottom of my lash line towards the inside of your eye. We are going with LA, baby. LA, the beautiful, sparkly gold. We're gonna put that on the middle of your lid. And then this is also going to go underneath a little bit. Just add a little bit of sparkle all along the eyes. I think I like it. The question is, do I want to add just a tiny bit more? Ooh, you know what? We're gonna add the sparkly purple, which is the color Dubai, in on the ends as well. Just a little hint of the sparkly purple. Almost forgot to do my eyebrows. We're just gonna go subtle and just use a pencil, fill them in just a little bit. So for eyeliner, I just use Revolution, just a little liquid pen, and I'm gonna do this in my mirror because I don't trust myself to do this on here and get a good line, so I'll be right back. Okay, so I have always just done top eyeliner. I don't do bottom. I used to in high school, but I don't like it anymore. So I just did a very subtle line with a little bit of a wing at the end, and like I showed in my last video, My go-to mascara lately is Maybelline's the Big Shot Colossal Big Shot, whichever way you want to say it. Love this stuff. We're just gonna finish up the eyes with this. And the final touch to a good fall makeup look is a good lipstick. And I think instead of going super dark today, I'm just gonna do a darker nude. I'm gonna do a little bit of a lip line. Just with a basic nude color on the liner. I think this is my number 7 brand lip liner. Just a nice soft pinky nude. And we are going to use Soap and Glory, which is a brand I don't buy very often, but I saw this color and I loved it. It is their Sexy Mother Pucker. So cute. And this shade is Cinnamon Beige. Who doesn't love cinnamon in the fall? That is my favorite scent ever, cinnamon, and I just love any of it. So we're just gonna blend that on. Like I said, I'm not going super dark today. Sometimes in the fall I'll do like a plummy color, but this is really a darker pink in person. And honestly, when you first pull it up, looks like a plum. But those are the lips. And just got my hair done this morning. We are black. Words. Once again, we are back to blonde. I had a mix of blonde and brown recently, and I have been blonde for 2 years, and I loved it, but also I missed this. So new hair today and a fall look. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know if there are other things like makeup routines you want to see. I know it's not something that I do a lot, and I'm not a huge makeup guru, but I do enjoy it. And you know what? Getting out of my comfort zone and trying to be more comfortable with this style video, and I'm going for it. So if you did enjoy this, let me know, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week.